It is the year 2472, and the Earth has suffered a great calamity. Hundreds of years of popular culture have vanished. Without the sacred films and texts for guidance, civilization is devoid of anything cool. Then, 3 incubation chambers are unearthed, and from within, men from the time of the great blockbusters emerge. Now, through highly interesting conversations, they share invaluable insight about what once was. The movies, the shows, the comics, toys, and books. This is the Hyperspace.
Podcasting in the 25th century.
Welcome in, podcast pioneers, to the Hyperspace. Podcasting in the 25th century, the interweb's first, and can you believe it's still only podcast? My name is Matt.
I'm Jared.
And I'm Mark.
Man, was it? Is this season 9?
Hey, you know what?
I don't even know what that means anymore.
There's no meaning. Season 9 has gone on for 2 years.
Season 8 went on forever.
At this point, every episode is a bonus episode.
Mike, where are you reporting from? You sound
why do you sound weird?
Because I am currently taking a FUBAR.
A FUBAR?
To across to the other continent.
Oh,
I
okay.
decided to take a little vacation, and I thought I'd see the sights and see how they live on the other side of the ocean.
Oh, okay. Well, the ocean is, mostly dried up at this point in the 25th century post-calamity. So it's that's got to be
still referred to the ocean.
Yeah, of course.
Just out of habit.
Yeah, of course. We haven't recorded a show since before Christmas, as is measured in the old calendar. We've done a couple of bonus episodes with the Star Wars stuff, but the 3 of us haven't been together in about 4 months.
That's true. It's been a while.
Man, we got to get back on track here because, the 10 people I talk to say, when's the next podcast coming out?
There's
and I was like, hey, we're working on it.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'll give you a little preview.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this maybe in the next episode, but in the downtime, my wife came to me with a very unusual request.
Okay, this is when you traveled back in time to spend time with them.
Yes.
Okay.
In my portal time that I had.
Yes.
So randomly, now, mind you, my wife does not watch sci-fi. She doesn't watch fantasy. She watches nothing and knows nothing about anything that I like.
Okay.
And she's never once listened to this podcast. But that said,
I think we're all in the same boat.
She came to me and she said, we should watch Iron Man because she saw something pop up on TikTok or Instagram. I said, yes, we should right now. So I jumped on that, and I'm going to, maybe the next episode, I'm going to give you the whole story of my family's blitzkrieg journey through the Marvel universe.
Wow.
And the highs and lows and which ones they liked and which ones were the winners and the losers.
Well, you did this a few months back, and I remember I'd look forward to your messages because I was curious about what your kids would enjoy and, what they wouldn't. And you'd update us almost nightly.
And I got to tell you, you're going to have to wait for that episode and listen for it because the answers will shock you. Which
How
movies and characters
now?
they like. My son is 9. He turns 10 in a couple months. And my daughter just turned 8, and my youngest is turning 6 shortly. So, that's the kind of general age group. But it's very interesting to see what movies they liked and what characters they liked. And the movies I thought were going to be huge and the movies that wound up being huge for them. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're a little behind the curve because by the time David was 6, Mike had showed him Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Night of the Living Dead.
He goes to bed with Jaws every night, right? It's a bedtime story.
Yes.
That is false. That did not happen.
Yeah, sure.
No, I can't wait.
No,
So
that's what your parents did to you, though.
And I think to tack on to that episode, I think I'm going to record a segment with my son and let him tell a little bit of the
Awesome.
stories on it too. So you get
Oh,
to hear
that's awesome.
from him on it.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. That's we've heard from Mike's son David a few times, and so that'd be awesome.
Yeah, he's excited to do it. So he just asked me just now if he could get on. I said, well, this isn't that episode. So I said, go to bed.
Okay, that's cool.
What's it on Marvel? What's it say there? I'm 3 episodes into.
Mike, can we give me a cheeseburger again, please?
Oh, is that my voice doing that?
You're getting some ocean interference.
Yes.
I don't know what to do. Is it still doing it?
No, you're fine.
No, you're fine.
Well, I'm doing this from my Fuber, so
the Fuber.
And the reception's not always going to be great. I've started. I'm 3 episodes into the new Daredevil series.
I'm 5 in. What do you think?
I love it. I think it's great.
Okay.
I think I'm actually convinced that Disney hired someone else to produce this.
They did. Did you not see? They totally did.
Did they really?
Yeah, they brought in the guy who worked on season 2 of Daredevil and did the first season of Punisher, and they brought him in to run the show.
First Punisher season I didn't like, but I loved all 3 of the other seasons of Daredevil, and so far I like it a lot. What do you think of it? You're a little deeper into it than me.
I'm enjoying it. I think Vincent D'Onofrio as Fisk, I think he's fantastic.
I think I really like the new dynamic they've set up.
Yeah,
with the characters, they're all kind of like in a different place now, and it's really interesting.
Yes, and Fisk is he's the mayor of New York, and he's really struggling not to sort of slide back into his ways. But Vincent D'Onofrio is fantastic in that role. I mean, he's just really sort of odd, and the way he has a really specific way of speaking, and it's really interesting.
Well, and I say the same for Charlie Cox. I think Charlie Cox is just amazing.
Yeah,
I love his
he is.
Matt Murdock.
And they just did episode 5. No spoilers, but it's kind of a bottle episode. And it really has nothing to do with anything that's going around on the outside series. But I was really engrossed, and it flew by. It was like 45 minutes long, but it felt like 20, and it was good.
I watched the 3rd episode, and it was the trial episode, and I couldn't believe how engaged I was in the story.
Well, see, I was wondering what you would think about that, because Daredevil hasn't shown up since the 1st episode.
But I like the way they're doing it.
Because
they're really doing it well.
Well, spoiler alert here, Daredevil, something happens in the 1st episode of season 4, I guess, and he's like, I can't do this anymore. I'm stepping away. I'm done with this. And I think most of this season is going to be spent until he's fine. And it's episode 4.
Well, you can see he's already starting to crash.
Well, episode 4 has a fantastic scene with Frank Castle, and I'm going to stop there. But
yeah, the end of episode 3 was pretty shocking.
How long are each episodes?
Between
about 45 minutes to an hour.
But it's good. Did you ever watch the Netflix show, Matt?
No, I haven't. You know what?
Okay.
It's nothing against Daredevil.
You have to.
But you know what it is? There's something about it. You know what it was? Who was the feature movie? Was it Ben Affleck? Maybe it was that turned me off in the storyline, but like I just didn't have any interest in watching it.
It's nothing like that.
I know. I've heard that too.
It's nothing like
that. It's nothing against it. It really is. I have to get past my own self on it because I know it's great. Everyone says it's great. So,
well, I'll tell you this: if they had announced that Charlie Cox was going to be in the new Avengers movie, I would have considered actually seeing it.
Yeah, but he's not, right?
So I won't be seeing it. Speaking of which, let's talk about that. The announcement. I mean, they are really desperate, man.
It is. They have thrown everything in the stew at this point.
You know what's
Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen and the cast of the X-Men from the 20th Century Fox. It's like, man,
It's
how are these people even gonna have time to talk in the movie?
I'm looking at the Thunderbolts as a movie I'm looking forward to, but I think you're seeing the death throes finally of Marvel, because the new Avengers is going to be just an absolute mess, a mess.
Well, I didn't see the new Captain America movie. Jared did, but I mean,
Yes.
I haven't heard. That's
saw
all I
it.
heard, is that it was a big mess.
Well,
I just heard it was a big mess.
I mean,
I didn't. Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
No, I mean, honestly, it wasn't a bad movie. You know what? It wasn't a Captain America movie.
No.
I mean, you could have sold me as it was a feature Falcon movie, and I would have been like, that it was a fine movie for it, because it really had nothing to do with Falcon taking on the mantle or the ideals or the memory of Captain America, of Steve Rogers, or living up to any kind of like standard or any kind of like higher ground that he set. It just is it's Falcon, who happens to be Captain America now. And I thought it was a good enough movie. It just wasn't a Captain America movie.
I wasn't hating life while I was in the theater watching it, but
Right.
after it, it's like immediately forgettable.
100%.
It's like it's not like the old days of Marvel when you'd walk out and go, man, maybe do I have time to see this again tomorrow or something?
Right.
And when you stack it up against movies like Winter Soldier and Civil War, it's there's not even a comparison.
It's at the very bottom tier of the movies. But you know what? If they had sold it to me as an Incredible Hulk sequel,
which was,
which happens to have starred Falcon in that regard, I probably would have bought into it a lot better, because Falcon as Captain America, he's not selling me on it. And you know, the funny thing is, Bucky had a very short cameo in it.
Yes. Which was the best scene in the movie.
It was. And I kept thinking to myself, as soon as I saw Bucky, I'm like, I know it wasn't in the comics, but Bucky to me would have made a much better Captain America.
I think he was.
Yeah, he eventually does get to be Captain America.
I mean, they should just make him Captain America.
That's what people don't like about Falcon being Captain America. They're like, Bucky's supposed to be Captain America.
He already had the redemption arc. He already had that redemption arc.
Yeah.
He would have lived up to the standards. He would have remembered Steve Rogers much more.
Yeah. So he was his friend, and he's from the 1930s.
So, I mean, to your point, it's a forgettable movie. It was okay in the theater. My kids liked it a lot.
Sure.
They liked it.
And, look, the Red Hulk was fun. I mean, seeing Harrison Ford, have seizures on stage, and poor 80-year-old man like contorting, and
all you see for the entire time he's on screen is the same Harrison Ford look. It's the constant, like, he's having either really bad indigestion, or he just crapped his pants, or he's like, he's swallowing something that's way too hot.
It's so funny when you see him in interviews like for this movie, and people are like, well, what did you think when you were in the mocap suit? No, he said, well, I thought about how much money I was making.
I mean, as a total pay the rent job.
I know, totally. I mean, that's, at this point, he's just like, okay, look, I'll do this. Just make sure you're paying me a lot.
And it wasn't a bad movie. You could definitely feel that it went through a lot of rewrites and reshoots. You could see the pacing differences, the timing changes, and all that. And it was forgettable.
And look, Anthony Mackie's not bad. I mean, and he's Anthony Mackie is great in the other Marvel movies.
Absolutely.
But he's a sidekick.
He's a supporting character.
He's a supporting player.
Hard to carry.
Yeah. And
he doesn't
he
doesn't have it.
No.
Factor.
I mean, look, I'm going to tell you this though. Out of the a la carte movies, we saw the entire Infinity Saga. I'll get into some detail on this in the next episode. But when we saw Black Widow, which was great to try and explain to my daughter what sex trafficking and all that stuff is. But that said, I actually really enjoyed Black Widow. I saw it for the first time. I liked the characters. I thought they were actually pretty good. And as a result, I'm really looking forward to the Thunderbolts.
Oh, because of the Red Guardian.
And I liked what's her name? Elena. I liked them. I thought they were actually really good actors and really good. It wasn't a great movie, but it wasn't a bad movie either. But
Well, that was the thing is I've always said the first 2 acts of Black Widow are very good.
yes,
But once they get on that stupid
Oh,
station in the sky,
Cloud City.
it's yeah, it totally falls down.
it just
falls down.
completely falls apart.
I know,
agree.
and they were saying that's why they couldn't find where the secret Widow base was, because it's a giant floating city.
I know, it made no
Yeah,
sense.
what?
It was really a bad reach. And to Mike's point, it was actually a very watchable,
Yes,
like very character driven movie.
correct.
And
But Matt, have you watched Hawkeye?
I've not.
You should watch Hawkeye because it's like a follow up to Black
Yeah,
Widow. Almost.
I know. I saw that.
Yeah, Hawkeye you kind of forget about, but I actually did like Hawkeye.
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch it before the Thunderbolts. But
yeah, because it's a good Elena story as well.
And you got John Walker in Thunderbolts, and I'm torn to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which
Don't do it.
Oh
Don't do
my
it.
gosh, it sucks so bad. It's so bad.
which is a shame.
Gosh, it's bad.
Yeah. It's I think
It's terrible.
hopefully they'll explain all you need to know about John Walker in the movie.
I'm sure.
And you don't have to suffer through his all the stuff from that show.
God.
But I see that, and I like the actors, and I have high hopes that it's the Suicide Squad I had hoped to see in, and
Yeah.
and maybe it's a good movie. But
And what's his name? Wyatt Russell. I mean, I like him. Kurt's son.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's good.
That poor guy. He's been on 2 shows I've watched, and they were both just the worst garbage shows ever.
yeah,
The
Bill
Godzilla
Pullman's
show?
son back. Bill Pullman's son is Bob again, another Bob.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's
He's in
Bob
it.
and
He
was
he's
Bob
Bob
in
in Maverick.
Maverick,
He's
right?
Bob in this one. Yeah.
what?
Yeah, I know.
Is this some kind of Maverick crossover?
But but again, I don't know what Marvel's doing. Marvel is out of its mind.
They're very.
They don't
it's-
know what they're
It's
doing.
very schizophrenic right now because you got stuff like Daredevil, which feels like the old stuff, and then Captain America 4, which feels like very mid-tier stuff, and then it's I don't know. And look, I'm curious, so I'm going to see the new Avengers movie because I want to know how all this stuff is coming together. I mean, you've got.
I mean, are they bringing the Fantastic Four in on this too?
Yes. The
I mean-
Fantastic Four is in it.
I don't know what's going on. Is
You
that
know,
an
all
alternate?
the-
We talked about this. Is
Yeah.
it an alternate universe?
Yes. Okay, but look, I think Fantastic Four looks fun to me because it looks completely different. I like that, like the Incredibles aesthetic they have, like the 1960s stuff. And I'm going to watch it. I'm looking forward to that. And, we'll see. But they did say that takes place in a different reality.
Of course, the multiverse. The multiverse used to be so cool, and now it's just like a crutch. It's just like we
Yeah.
can't explain this because multiverse.
Well,
Yeah.
You're running into the Kelvin problem in Star Trek. So
Well,
where too many familiar plots are transferred over into a multiverse storyline, and
yeah.
it just gets convoluted and it gets boring. Is what it gets.
You talk about movies that are forgettable, and I don't know, this may be controversial, what I'm going to say, is I think the new Deadpool movie was kind of forgettable.
No, it was that Deadpool movie was a theme park ride.
That's the only thing I really genuinely like about it is Wesley Snipes.
Wait, he's in it?
Yeah, he's
Oops.
Blade.
I know. I haven't seen it.
Oh,
but I know
okay.
it.
Everybody knows that by now.
I went back and rewatched Blade, which is so great. But
I-
to me, that Deadpool and Wolverine is great because of Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, I would agree. And when I saw it, I was like, that's going to be the hook that gets Mike, is seeing Wesley Snipes. And, he, quite frankly, he got like the biggest pop of anybody. Like, when I saw it in the theater, everybody was like, oh, God, that's Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
Blade is a great series. Blade were great movies. man.
Well,
I mean, Blade
Well,
3
two
was a
of
little, but Blade 1 and 2 were good.
Yeah, Blade 1 and 2 were fun.
They were fun.
3 was
Now, 3 was
horrendous.
a train wreck, but I mean, I just saw Blade 2. I actually watched the second half of it not long ago. It's still fun.
Yeah.
Really good
Yeah.
movie.
He's a great character. I mean, he's got and it's funny because when I watched with my boys, they had the same reaction. Because when I saw it, I didn't see it in the theater because Marvel had a reputation for having bad movies.
Terrible.
But Jared had it on DVD, and I don't know if I was sick or something, but I was at home, and he let me borrow Blade. And when at first you don't know really what you're about to watch, but when he's killing all those vampires and he does that fist pump, that just hooked me right away. And when I watched it, my son David was like, "Oh, that was so cool when he did that."
I mean, who could have played Blade better? It was made for Wesley Snipes. I mean, that was such a great role.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. He was
Absolutely.
awesome.
And the fact that he just kind of disappeared from movies because of his legal problems, whatnot. I mean, it's just to have him just disappear and not just kind of get played out as an actor.
Well, didn't he go to prison?
Yeah.
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 But I mean, that's why I think that holds up so well too, because you didn't have a chance to really get tired of Wesley Snipes. He just kind of disappeared. He was out.
Yeah,
that's
he
true.
He was hot and then he was gone.
But you know what? He looked good. He looked.
Yeah, he's still.
I mean, they put the gray in his beard, which actually looked really cool.
Yeah,
and
I mean, he was.
He still played the role. Like there was no.
Yeah, this is like 25 years later.
Man, I can't wait. I actually want to watch. I haven't seen Deadpool 3, so actually, that's the movies Christy's asking to see next.
Well, don't watch that with your kids, for God's sake.
No, I don't.
But yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Deadpool movies. The second Deadpool movie, I actually genuinely enjoy a lot. I think the second Deadpool movie is really good. First one I hate. Third one's popcorn. The second one I think has got a really good story and is really funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think Deadpool and Wolverine works really well once. And then after that, it's because now that you've seen all the cameos and the tricks and the surprises and everything,
it's done.
You realize that this movie isn't really about anything.
I will say I do enjoy the Chris Evans moment. You know what? I don't want to say anything to Matt because it's a really funny moment. Where they're in the cage.
Yes.
Do you remember?
Oh, is that the end?
Yes.
And
that to me was the funniest part in the whole movie.
And he starts saying all that terrible stuff. And
don't say anything. You'll spoil it from that.
No, that is genuinely hilarious.
All right, hold on. I want to switch gears now.
Okay.
Mike just took a trip. He took a long road trip. Mike, how long was that road trip?
10 hours. Well, 11 hours if you count the breaks.
11 hours to go from Tennessee to Missouri, of all places.
Bronson, Missouri.
On purpose.
Which I learned
on purpose.
Between Nashville and Bronson, Missouri, there is nothing. If I were to give anyone any advice, I would say anytime you pass a gas station, fill it up. Because you don't know when you're going to see another one.
So you were just in farmland.
Oh, you know what? And I don't know. I hope I say it's probably safe to say we don't have any Missouri listeners. But
you never know.
Missouri smells funny.
What?
Smells funny?
It smells funny?
I don't know what we were driving through Missouri and I'm like, finally I said, does anybody smell something? And Seven was like, yeah, I kind of smell it too.
Well, what was it?
It's just, I don't know. It's you peel some boogers out of your nose. You know that scent in your nose after you do that.
What does it smell like? Like poop or farm poop?
It's not bad. It's just a weird smell. I don't know.
You know, when you drive out of Florida, if you ever go past Savannah, Georgia, there's a lot of paper mills around Savannah. Uh-huh. And I don't know if you ever smelled a paper mill before, but
sure,
it's putrid as you drive by. Is it like, do you know what I'm talking about, Mike?
Yeah, no, it wasn't like, it was just a funny smell. You know, it's not like sometimes when you walk in someone's house and, you know, that their house has a smell.
Yeah, like
it's not a
some people's
smell.
house smell like dog hair and sand.
No. You know what I mean. I saw a meme that was funny. It was like when you've been on a trip for a week and you come home and you walk in the door and you're like,
Yes.
oh, is this how other people
Yeah.
smell my
Yes.
house?
Yeah, you're nose blind to it. You're like, what? What is this?
Dog hair and sand.
Yeah.
I forgot, man. Poor Mike. That he had no grass in that backyard. Those dogs brought it all in.
No, it was gone. It was gone.
All the
I
adventures.
mean, grass doesn't grow well in sand anyway.
No, it doesn't.
In a rackish yard.
We had so much sand in that house. We finally had to quit letting him. We used to let him sleep in our bed, but
Oh my gosh.
we could make a sand castle on the next day.
Oh no.
In the bed.
So, how did the family survive 10 or 11 hours in the car?
Well, switches, music. We take turns on albums, and the boys had their switches. I had a switch. I let Jamie drove a few hours.
Wow.
I usually try to do like I try to do like a big chunk of it at the front, and then I'll take like a couple hours off, and then I'll finish the trip. So yeah, it was fine. I mean,
my wife doesn't know how to drive on the interstate.
Yeah, no, it's all my miles.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
what was in Bronson, Missouri?
Silver Dollar City.
Don't you have Dollywood like an hour away from you? Isn't it the same thing?
Okay. Well, here's the thing. No, it's not actually, because David was like wanting to go to Silver Dollar City.
Oh, because
now
of the
he's like a
roller coasters, right? Yeah.
He's
Oh,
a
this is
roller
an
coaster-
amusement park.
he's
I'm
a
sorry.
Yes.
enthusiast.
You drove 10 hours?
Oh,
for
you
an
didn't know
amusement
it's
park?
Silver Dollar City?
No.
Yeah.
So listen.
It's
So
an
he wanted to
amusement
check
park.
out, and he's like, "This is number one in America." And
You're
I'm
probably
like,
closer to
Silver
Busch
Dollar
Gardens in
City.
Virginia.
You gonna let me finish the story?
All right. The tube connection
So
is soft.
apparently, Silver Dollar City in Bronson, Missouri, is one of the top-rated amusement parks in America.
Wow, I didn't
Okay.
know that. All right.
And I didn't either, and it sounded ridiculous. I said, "Are you sure about that?" So we get there, and it's actually a pretty nice park. I mean, it's got some pretty good roller coasters there, and it was kind of compact. It wasn't huge, but they had a lot packed in, and so it was like there was this one roller coaster called the Time Traveler, where your car spins while you're on the track.
Okay.
And
That's
then, but
where you had
cool
the
thing was,
Is that where the picture you sent from? You were wearing the weird glasses and stuff.
yeah, it kind of had a steampunk theme.
Yes.
But another cool thing about the park is the marble caves. It was we took that tour, and it was neat.
Oh, that's cool.
It was like this huge cave. Yeah, and apparently the cave was an attraction before Silver Dollar City existed, and they built Silver Dollar City to give people something to do while they waited to get to take a tour through the cave.
Weird.
Yeah, but it was cool. That drive was brutal. Yeah, that drive was brutal. It wasn't the best place to stay. At one point, there was a bunch of kids. There was this right outside our room was this giant chess set. And it was the last night. We were going to get up early to leave. And there was these kids out there playing with it. And they weren't playing chess. They were playing, let's throw these giant chess pieces around and scream while we're doing it. So we finally had to call the front desk and say, hey, these people, they've got to be told to stop. So that we took care of that. But anyway.
How many days were you there?
So, yeah. Just we got there on a Thursday. We did the park Friday and Saturday, and we left early Sunday morning.
Okay. So the end of spring break?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Well, it's I'm going to tack on to what you said there. You said that Silver Dollar City sprang up as a waiting area for people to go see the caves. That's
I will say it was better than Dollywood.
okay.
It is better than Dollywood.
Well, Dollywood used to be Silver Dollar City back in the 80s. And
In fact, the biggest disappointment I had was I was hoping when I walked into Silver Dollar City, there'd be a miner standing out front with a mule handing out silver badges. You know what they do have at that Silver Dollar City, though? Do you remember the flooded mine?
yes, they have it there, right? And you can
Yes, they still have
shoot
it there.
guns. Yeah.
Right, but mine was broken. I got a point every time I pulled the trigger. So
Oh, nice.
I had
So
like
you
2
won.
million points.
Wow. Well, the theme park around Silver Dollar City in Tennessee, later Dollywood, it sprang up because of the steam engine that's there. That used to be the only attraction there. It was called
Really?
It was called the Confederate Railroad, and you got on it, and you got ambushed by, Confederate soldiers.
I remember that. I remember
And
that. Oh, Confederate soldiers. No, I didn't see that.
That was way back in the day. Then they changed it to like cowboys and stuff.
Oh,
later.
what a
Yeah,
ride that
I
train
remember the
used to
Cowboys.
But so the theme park sprung up around that train, and
be. They
that's
just kept the spirit alive, didn't they?
yeah, that's why. And the train's still there. So
Yeah.
but yeah, that's crazy. Man, this is quite a potpourri of
I'm throwing another weird wrench into this.
Do it.
And I want to throw something in.
Oh,
Has anybody seen the bizarre report about what they possibly found under one of the pyramids at Giza?
I saw some. There's a guy I follow on YouTube, and I saw he posted a video with a picture of a pyramid, and I haven't watched the video yet, so I don't know what it was about.
It's
but I have a feeling you're about to see.
Very difficult to verify, aside from the fact that the story is out there.
Did they find some mutants underneath there?
I guess there was an Italian team that used some, sounding equipment, and the images that they kept getting back over and over is, I guess, the center pyramid, whatever the cafe or whatever it is,
the big one.
Underneath it, apparently they have several from different angles images of 8 giant pillars that go down over 2,000 feet. And around the pillars is a spiral around each pillar. And at the base of these pillars is a massive structure. And they did like a side-by-side, and the pillars go down further than the Empire State Building. These eight cylindrical pillars. So, but I'm trying to find more and more information about it, but it's like it's being completely contested by the Egyptian council, but these Italians keep going and say, no, you have to look at what we have. And
so they're doing this with like sonar and stuff, or
whatever. It's some kind of ground penetrating radar that they're using, and it's just wild. So it's just this crazy mystery of the day of the pyramids.
Wow. Interesting.
I don't know if anybody saw that or not.
No, I think you sent an article about it, but like so many things Matt sends, I'm afraid to click on it.
It's really like a Russian roulette, but
yes, it is.
I keep your work life alive, man.
Every now and then, Jared will go, "Don't bother, Mike."
You see, Mike, this particular video that Matt has said. Okay, Mike, what are you throwing in the stew?
So I've started recently. Well, as I told you, I recently rewatched the Flash Gordon movie, which I love.
Yes.
But I also had just recently received the 3DS collection of the original serials.
Yes. The old Buster Crab movies.
Yes, and I started watching those, and I'm 3 episodes in, and they are pure insanity.
Well, I mean, I think I have those on DVD, but I don't think I've ever.
You mentioned it before.
But they are crazy because they have the production value of a school play. It's like if Michael Bay made a movie back in the 30s, because it's just nonstop running around, just like, we gotta go to that, we gotta go here, we gotta go there. And every time Flash Gordon attacks something, no joke, he grabs him by the throat. Every single time he runs up to him and he grabs him by the throat and he's like shakes him. And I'm like, I'm watching. I'm like, this is insane. This is just pure madness. And you know, and when I watch those, I try to imagine, like, you know, what if I was watching these at the time they were made? Because I know they were really popular.
Yes.
And but it's like, man, some of those ships just look like toys.
Yeah, and you can see that, like,
Sparks.
they're just sparklers out the back that are just. Well, it's funny. My dad, he watched those on TV when he was little, and he always talks about that to this day. You know, and I'm fortunate that he likes to watch the same kind of movies I do, and every once in a while he'll say, you know, I'm sitting here watching this Star Wars movie or whatever it is, and he's like, you got to remember when I was a kid what I was watching, and now that it looks like this, it's kind of fun to see that kind of progression, just of him acknowledging that, hey, here's what I used to watch.
I mean, in the same token, even though we had Star Wars, we still had Land of the Lost. So,
well, I was about to bring that up because, you know, I laugh at the way Flash Gordon looks, but you know, we've talked about this before. In Land of the Lost, those dinosaurs look like Jurassic Park dinosaurs.
They were totally real.
Like, I remember I was at Jared's once, and he pulled out his Land of the Lost DVD and put an episode in, and I was like, "What?" I thought this was real.
We binged all those. Remember that, Jared?
Yeah, we did. Like, me and Matt, we spent probably like 8 hours one day going through a whole season, just making fun of, you know, Wesley Urey and, you know, all the, but Dad, how? And Spencer Milligan being completely intoxicated and checked out in every scene he's in. Just like,
but when we were kids, man, that was a big show, and I believed it.
Kidding.
That was Jurassic Park, like Mike said. That might as well have been Jurassic Park. So I get it. I get you watching the serials as a kid. Flash Gordon.
Yeah,
I could see how that was awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, and I want to revisit. There was a cartoon that came on in the 80s. I don't know if it. I guess it came after the movie. I'm not sure, but it was who was the one who did the Star Trek?
Filmation.
Yeah,
they did He-Man and Star Trek.
Right, and I remember really liking that cartoon when I was a kid.
Yeah,
they had these robots.
Well, you'll notice a lot of the reused animation they reused in He-Man, like people running and stuff like that. All that stuff. I guess Flash Gordon came on first, so they probably just pulled it from Flash Gordon and used it in He-Man. So, yeah, the looped animation.
And they have that same music, like that sound, like you hear it in the Star Trek cartoon and the Flash.
Yes,
it's just a very distinct musical sound.
It's slightly tinny sounding, like it's in some sort of echoey room.
Like
yeah,
and it's like ding 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 ding. Ring.
Yes, it's crazy. But there's. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, seeing some of the am I good now?
You're fine.
Can I? Okay.
Yes.
There was the Lion Men because it's based off a comic strip.
Sure.
And the Lion Men in the serial was just bushy-haired dudes, but in the cartoon, they actually looked like lion.
That's what it was. They had action figures,
which of course. And you watch it after seeing Star Wars, you think Star Wars, then like the box Star Wars. But it's actually the Lion Men came first. I guess I'm making the noise again.
Something between Burger King drive-thru and General Grievous just happened. I don't.
I swear I had one of those Lion Men action figures. I had an action figure that was like a lion.
Yeah,
man. It has to be from.
They had a toy line.
It has to be from that. And you know what? It's always been in the back of my head, but I'm sure that's what it's from. I got to look it up, but I'm sure that's what it's from. The Flash Gordon cartoon.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. We'll have to find that on eBay or something. Man, anybody else got anything to throw in the soup tonight?
Man, season 9. It's just a stew.
Season 9 is.
Well,
Are we going to be perpetually season 9 forever now?
Well, we're just kind of like we're perpetual. We'll just say whatever season. We'll
I
just make up season numbers.
Sure.
What
I
is
will
time?
say, but I have something coming up in June. I'm looking forward to
Uh-oh. What's that?
the Living Dead weekend.
What's that?
I sent it to you. You guys never read my text.
Is that the mall that they filmed
every
it at?
year? Yeah.
Yeah.
The mall they shot Dawn of the Dead, Monroeville Mall. They do a weekend where they get cast members from the George
Yep.
Romero movies, and this may be the last year they do it there because apparently Walmart bought that mall. So
they're gonna
I
tear
wanted
it
to
down.
do it at least once.
Dude, get the camera out.
So
Get
me
some
and
good shots. I'm excited.
Me
That
and
sounds
Seth-
awesome.
And it's going to be based around Day of the Dead. They got a lot of the cast people who are still alive that are going to be there. And there's a cool photo op with Tom Savini. I think I might actually splurge on and get done from a famous shot in Dawn of the Dead. So
Cool.
I thought
That's a great
so I'm
movie. That's a good movie.
Man. When is that? June?
Yeah, June 6th.
Oh, cool.
That's another big drive.
Where's that going to? Indiana? I don't know why.
Monroeville, Pennsylvania. It's outside
Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh.
Okay.
That's big.
Wow. Well, hey,
we're back. We're back.
You know what?
Did we ever?
We'll see you again in 4 months. But no, I'm just kidding.
We got a lot coming up, guys. We have a lot coming up.
Look, we actually have some ideas for shows. So, and we have time to record them now. So let's do this. So we don't want you to, share the show. Tell people the hyperspace is back. But, we never went anywhere.
Unless you live in Missouri, don't listen to this.
Okay. Yeah, because your state stinks. There's an odor. But anyway, we want to thank you for listening. And please come back with Sam and come with this. Sorry, Mike, I couldn't understand you. What was that? No, I'm just kidding. Come back soon. We're going to be here more consistently. We promise you that. And thanks for listening this week. And we'll see you next time.
I think so, right?
Sure.
Somebody turn robotic?
I don't know. What was that? Does Mike have one of those voice boxes from the drive-thru? Hello, help me. Give me some cheeseburgers. And then Mike gets on there and goes, "Why did you say? I can't understand you." Okay, here we go.
You know you can't live without this content. So subscribe to The Hyperspace, podcasting in the 25th century. Follow us on social media, leave us a review, and join us next time as we take you into the 25th century.